guys, welcome to 3D Print Passion. Today I like to show you the Anycubic Viper, which was sent to me from geekbuying.com. I have a very interesting coupon code for you, and this one you can find in the end of the video. The Anycubic Viper will come well packed and with several additional parts like PLA, a power cable, a USB cable, some cable ties, a USB stick, a SD card and a replacement nozzle, and of course a spool holder. The Anycubic Viper do have a dual Z-axis and have a pretty nice design which looks clean and tidy. To mount the printer, you place the portal inside the recesses and screw in the 4 screws. This is something very quickly and easy to do and done in a few minutes. Check also the other screws. Not all of them was tight at my printer. As next, you remove the zip ties on the Z-axis on the left side and on the right side, and also on the Y-axis. After that, remove the transportation foam and check if the bed is moving correctly and the rolls are not too fit or too loosen. If so, you can correct this on the extender screw like shown here on the X-axis. Now I put in the Bowden tube into the extruder, plug in all the cables and fit the cable on the X-axis together with the Bowden tube to have a better movement and a strain relief. The connectors on the Z-axis left and right need to be connected, as well as the Z end stop on both sides. All connectors are reverse polarity protected. Also, the display is very easy to connect with a reverse polarity protection and will be mounted to the aluminium profiles. This is also a 2 minutes job and can be done very quickly. The filament holder will be clicked in to the frame and the holder of the filament roll will be screwed in inside the filament arm. I really like this little drawer where you can find some tools like an Allen key, a plier and a needle to clean the nozzle. It finds a very practical place below the printer. Before you connect the printer the first time with a power cable, make sure that the voltage is correctly set for your country. If you start the printer, you will be greeted by the Anycubic beep tone and with a loud power supply fan. The display looks very nice, clean and tidy, and have all the options you need to handle your print job during printing, but deeper configuration methods like flow, steps or other elements are not integrated into that display functions. So if you like to modify anything of that configuration settings, you need to connect your printer by a USB cable to a computer. The heatbed takes some getting used to because it is not isolated and there are no leveling screws available. The leveling works by the display with the auto level function by touching the build plate with the nozzle and recognized by that way that there is the Z end stop. This is the absolutely best auto leveling system I ever have tested on a 3D printing system. Really pretty nice. I never was leveling again that heatbed during all my prints and my test prints. It works one time leveled all over the time. I only was printing now with PLA during the last prints I have done by testing this printer and some prints afterwards. With PETG, ASA or ABS with higher temperatures, it's quite possible that you need to re-level by auto-leveling this bed again. This printer do have a dual set end stop to ensure that the x-axis is in a perfect horizontal alignment. This is far way to be standard at the moment on budget printers. Pretty nice. What I really don't like is the cable management behind the printer, which is connected with the heatbed. If you move the heatbed forward and backwards, you can see that there is a possibility that the cable will go a little bit to the left and blocking the heatbed by moving to the back. I had it one time and I see here a possible issue of a broken cable. So you should be aware of it and think about how to place the cable a little bit more on the right, that there will not pop up a blocking issue. Let's have a look to the technical data. The printer do have a build volume of 245 by 245 by 260 millimeters and can heat up the nozzle at maximum 260 degrees and the heatbed at 110 degrees. It have a Bowden extruder with a dual set axis and dual set end stop. We have an ABL sensor and it's controlled by a 32-bit mainboard with Cortex M3 CPU, 2209 TMC drivers, a magnetic build plate, a dual fan, a dual gear extruder, a 4.3 inches color touch display and a belt tensioner for X and Y. To add this printer in Cura, in my version it's 4.12, there is not much to do. You add your printer, choose Anycubic, Anycubic Viper, and that's it. The profile is already very well to start and have, starting with the beginning, directly good prints. The loading mechanism for filament is very good. The idler arm is placed very well and it's easy to load the filament into the extruder. To pull the filament completely, you use the display function, which heats automatically up the nozzle and put the filament inside to hot end. As soon enough filament is extruded, you stop the extrusion process by clicking on the display. The purge line of the standard profile in Cura 4.12 is printed a little bit before the heatbed. I don't know if it's a little mistake or if it was planned to do so. At my opinion, it should be moved a little bit to the inside to print that purge line on the print plate. I started to print a calibration cube and look this calibration cube how it was printed. We measure first the dimensions. The x-axis is very well with 2009, y and z also very well printed, all parameters inside the definitions. Perfect. The quality is absolutely okay for not calibrated and tuned printer right now, so a good result. The first layer is a little bit rough depending to the heat bed, which is also a little bit rough, but this is not a problem, it's only a question of liking. If we check this cube on a close-up view, we will see that there is a little bit ghosting. So at my opinion, we should check now if the printer was printing too fast, decrease a little bit the speed, check if all the belts are tensioned correctly, and maybe if all the rolls are okay and not fitted too hard or too loosen. The magnetic build plate is very nice. It can be taken away from the heat bed, bend a little bit to also remove bigger printouts very easily. I started now with printing a large cylinder, which I always do all over the Z-axis to see if the printer do have a wobbling problem. And let's check the cylinder and it's printed absolutely beautiful. I can't see any wobblings along the complete Z-axis. Clean and tidy printed like it should be. This is a good job done by Anycubic. Also a test print I really like to do very often is this steam from a rose, and I only have seen one time a printer which have printed this steam absolutely perfectly. Also this printer do have some troubles to print out that little steam without specialized tuning and calibration. If we check the details, you see that the printout is not very nice. Let's check the clearance test. 0.6 is free, 0.5 free, 0.4 free, 0.3 also is free, and the 0.2 is also moving. 0.1 fixed, no problem at all. 0.2 is more than enough for nearly all prints you will do. I also print a little Benchy to compare all the printers with each other, because the Benchy I always print on printer tests. Yeah, a nice printout, but not perfect. The surface is not so clean like it should be. There are some issues where we need to work on, where we need to calibrate or modify the slicer settings. At all, it's a good print, but like I said, not perfect. Let's talk about the strengths and weaknesses. Before we start, the printer do not have big weaknesses. It is a great printer, also advisable for beginners. Let's start with the weaknesses. The biggest weakness is the heatbed cable, which can cause problems as long as it could collide with the heatbed while moving forward and backward. This could be fixed, for example, with a cable tie to ensure the cable can't come behind the heatbed. Also the fans, especially the power supply fan, is annoying and loud. Other manufacturers handle that much more better. I would prefer a silent fan here. The biggest strength is the ABL mechanism. It is by far the best what I have ever tested on a 3D printer. Also the dual gear extruder is a big plus for this printer, especially for TPU filament on a Bowden extruder printer. The dual fan duct, which allows without modifications to print better overhangs, is also a big plus. The print quality is good out of the box and very sure much better after some calibrations and slicer tunings. On the bottom I show you now the discount code with the link in the video description and the limited discount code. You can get this printer at the moment for around 267 euros plus minus a bit depending to currency variability. If you like the video, thanks to give me a thumbs up. If you like to see more from me, please click to subscribe and hit the bell to don't miss any new video. Thank you for watching the video. See you next time. Happy printing. Bye.